I am Dana K. White of aslobcomesclean.com, and today I'm going to talk about how to gain decluttering momentum. Sometimes you might think of it as traction. It's that thing that when you're wanting to declutter, you're desperate for, right? You're like, I just wish I could gain traction and not feel like I work on this space and this space gets out of control. And so then I work on this space and this space gets out of control. Like the gopher game, you know, where you hit one and then it comes up, the other ones come up and you can never get ahead. That's what we're desperate to not have happen, right? Like we want to gain momentum. I just want to make real progress in my actual overall house. What doesn't work is to say, well, I'm going to clean it from top to bottom today. I mean, maybe it works for some people, but for those who are completely overwhelmed and have way too much stuff, that kind of thinking was never helpful for me. But I had to come up with a way to prioritize, which I have a video from years ago, like when I was in the midst of figuring this stuff out, where I was like, you know what? I need to declutter something. I'm just going to declutter this visible space first. And that has ended up being one of my core strategies, is to prioritize according to visibility, because that works. What do I mean when I say prioritize according to visibility? Well, it means that when you feel that itch to declutter, like it's often like a physical itch, you actually feel this, oh, I've got to declutter something. There is this weird tendency to want to go find some obscure drawer or cabinet or the top shelf in the master bedroom closet or whatever, and to work in that space, because I think there's this thing in us that's like, well, but that's a place that we never really use. So if I declutter that, then maybe it'll actually stay decluttered. But the problem with that is that if you work and you spend a bunch of effort and you use that decluttering energy on a space that you don't actually see, a space that you don't actually use, then you don't experience the benefit of having decluttered. Let's say someone comes to your front door and you're embarrassed to let them inside because your house still looks horrible, and you know that if you said, I've been decluttering all day, they'd be like, really? Huh? You know? So you don't even want to let someone inside. That zaps your decluttering energy. You spent all day working and there's nothing to show for it. That depletes your decluttering energy and makes all this feel pointless and hopeless, okay? But if you will resist that urge when you get the decluttering itch to go to some obscure place and instead say, I'm going to follow Dana's visibility rule, or your own visibility rule, if you want to call it that, I don't even care. Follow the visibility rule. If you follow the visibility rule, here's what happens. You work in the most visible space. I am in my entryway right now, okay? If this is the space that I work on, then when someone comes to the front door, I experience a huge benefit from all of the work that I just put in on this space. I spent decluttering energy and I've got something to show for it. And it makes it easier to live my life and open the front door without embarrassment, okay? Also, if I declutter in this visible space, I see this space all the time. I mean, like, I see this space, and even though I may not have really registered how cluttered it was every time before, now that it's decluttered, I can walk by and go, that looks so nice in there. And that increases my decluttering energy, okay? So decluttering a space that no one ever sees, that we don't actually use, zaps my decluttering energy. Decluttering a space that we see and that improves our life and makes it easier to live in our home, that increases decluttering energy. I see it more often, I experience the benefit, and then I am inspired by myself and the work that I've done in the past to declutter again sooner. But here's the key. Here's how you really gain the momentum. When you experience that decluttering energy again sooner, because of the space that you've made visible progress in, okay? You've actually been experiencing the benefit of the work that you did before. As you get that decluttering energy again, go back to that same visible space. I know this can seem like it's going to send you on that, oh, I never make any real progress. But here's the thing. The first time you declutter this visible space, it's hypothetically got months worth of stuff that has just been dropped there and dumped there and ignored, and you had to make real tough decluttering decisions. You spent maybe an hour, 2 hours really working on getting the clutter out of this space. But now it's been a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. You start again in that space. It's not going to take you 2 or 3 hours. It's basically just going to be the first 2 steps of my decluttering process, which is trash and easy stuff. Trash means trash. Easy stuff means things that have a place somewhere else in the house. They're just not there for whatever reason. And you're going to get through the stuff in this space really, really quickly because it's just a week or 2 worth of things that have been randomly placed here as opposed to months or years worth of stuff that has collected that had to be decluttered. So you're gonna get through this space in maybe 5 minutes as opposed to the decluttering project that you did before. That's maintaining this space, okay? So work on this space again. And then in the time that you were gonna devote to decluttering, let's say you were gonna devote a couple of hours to it, you spent 5 minutes, got this space back to being great and the way that you want it, move to the next most visible space and spend your decluttering time and your decluttering energy in that next most visible space. Then you're gonna really start to feel like my house is really changing. My most visible space, my entryway, has actually been decluttered and maintained for quite a while. And now I've gotten my living room decluttered. Wow, my house is really changing. You're gonna be inspired and energized to declutter again more sooner. And then when you feel that energy again and you're like, I'm gonna declutter, I'm really seeing the power of this. I'm inspiring myself to do this. As you do that, what do? You go back to the first space. You spend 5 minutes in there getting it back under control because it's just trash and easy stuff. It's probably a little bit less too, because now that you have decluttered it and maintained it, you're starting to identify what things are before you randomly drop it there. And you're more likely, not guaranteed, but you're more likely to actually go put it in its real home so it doesn't get as cluttered. All right, so you spend 5 minutes there, you spend 5 minutes in the second most visible area, getting that space back to what you want it to be. And then you move and you spend the bulk of your time and your decluttering energy on the next most visible space. And that is how you work through your house. Okay, that's how you gain real momentum. That's how you work on something while not just letting everything else that you've already done go back to being out of control and bonkers. Okay, y'all, the visibility rule, it is powerful. Inspiring yourself by making visible progress in your home is going to be so much more powerful than watching somebody else on the internet work in their home. I'm telling you, if you can get to the point where you are inspiring yourself and perpetuating your own decluttering energy, that's when you're really going to get excited about this decluttering process. And as you keep working, every time that you get a space that you decluttered before back under control quickly and easily, you're going to start to really understand the power of those 5-minute pickups. How do you maintain decluttering progress? 5-minute pickups. That's how you do it. If a 5-minute pickup doesn't cut it, then declutter some more so that a 5-minute pickup, you've got less to do and you can get it all done in the 5 minutes. That making visible progress by going back, maintaining each area before you move to another area, that is really going to help to change how you think about your house and how your house functions. All right, I will talk to y'all next week. Bye.